Hello, SRMites. How are you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Say What with SRM. Today, we have a very, very special guest with us. One of the huge achievers in our whole university, I would like to say, the first ever female president of the Student Council, Niveda, with us. Before we get into our podcast, Niveda, would you like to introduce yourself for two, three people who do not know you?
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Shrudhara, for the rather very enormous introduction. I really don't believe that I have achieved so much. And so, to everyone who's listening in, I am Niveda Shriram, and I'm from Bangalore. And I'm going into my fourth year currently. Recently been elected as the president of the Student Council for the year 2025 2026.
So, Niveda, before we get into it, and now that we know that everything's done, would you like to tell the selection process of how you became the president? Because there are a lot of enthusiastic students out there who also want to join the student council. So, what is the process behind becoming the president or the member of the student council?
The process is as such. So there's usually a form that's rolled out to students. So students can sort of nominate themselves that they would like to be a part of the student council for this particular post. So once you do that, you will be called for interview. So there's 3 rounds of interviews. So one would be with the previous student council, that is the core team of the previous student council. The second interview would be with the Directorate of Student Affairs and a panel of varied faculties and panelists. And then the final round of interview, once you pass the 2 rounds, would be with VC Sir himself. So the VC Sir interview is only for the top 4 positions. The remaining positions, we sort of wrap it up at the second round itself. So yeah, that's the selection process.
So, I think the other universities usually go for the student body election, but here in our university it varies and the decision has been taken by the higher officials. So, is there anything you want to say about it? Maybe in the next council, the process will be changed to the student body, or do you think the higher officials will take it forward?
So I mean, I've been here for 4 years now. I mean, I'm including the fourth year as well since I've been elected anyways. And I think just looking at how the council functions and the relationship with the management and everything, I'm sure there was a reason why this process was selected, for electing students in particular positions. And it would be a good experiment, I would say, in the future if they ever chose to, sort of be like, yeah, students can have an election process and they'd vote and everything. But at the same time, I'm sure there are a few reasons why it hasn't been implemented yet. But you never know. I mean, future is in the future. So maybe one day we might even see that in SRM. Maybe you never know.
Maybe one day. So, this is your fourth year in the student council and your fourth year in the university as well. You've started off as the member of the council, then you were made the vice president. I mean, you became the vice president and now the president. So, could you tell the whole process and your journey through all these 4 years as part of the student council?
Since our university is rather new, in my first year, I was a member. So that time I was working with the first student council ever. So I had the greatest time working with Manikanta's batch, and like they were just wonderful. Like when I looked at them, I wanted to be in the student council. It was like a dream. And I still remember at that time when Shivam and Manikanta told me, Niveda, just wait and watch, you will be vice president one day. So these are things I'll never forget. So as a member, I really worked hard on like ground activities, a lot of events and everything. And then in my second year, I was made the convener of clubs and societies. So that was a huge challenge, like handling so many clubs and so many societies. And since it was rather newly introduced, also students didn't really understand how things worked around it. So that was a huge challenge. So I think that sort of gave me the insight and push that I needed to run the council when I was a vice president. As a vice president, I think my journey has like a lot of ups and downs with in sort of like being in higher position and handling a team and also handling I was in third year, so of course I had a lot of academic pressures as well, along with internships and placements and whatnot. So that was a like roller coaster ride. But I definitely absolutely enjoyed those 3 years, and I think I did my best, and hopefully everyone else thinks so too. But yeah, I just focus on sort of doing what I can do best and moving forward.
You have definitely given your best. And since you mentioned about academic pressure and internships, huge congratulations on you getting placed at PayPal. And would you like to talk about what you are expecting from that placement and how you got it and all for our audience?
So basically, PayPal is, I mean, a huge company, of course. So like, I am extremely privileged and honored that I did crack it. And yeah, so in a couple of months, I'll be going for my PayPal internship, and it's a 3 months internship. So I'm very excited for that. And for me, the happier thing is I'm going to home ground. So my internship's in Bangalore. So that's a big, huge, like plus for me. I'm extremely happy about it. The conversion is pretty high, so which is why people say I've been already placed in PayPal. Hopefully, I do get converted and get placed. That's the dream. But yeah, I think I just focused, like, as much as I did focus on all my extracurriculars, I made sure I never, sort of left my studies and gave the priority it requires. Because I mean, everyone's here for a reason. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm very excited. It's the bottom line.
Despite carrying so many tasks, on the other hand, you've also become a 4 times hackathon winner. How was the experience going to so many hackathons and winning the prizes there? How was your experience overall?
I think when it comes to hackathons, it's all about the team. I am very happy that I had a wonderful team with me. So, like, without them, I'm 100% sure I wouldn't have been able to achieve anything. So, yeah, one is I had a wonderful time with my team. So, they're really close to me. And I remember the first hackathon, you don't know what you're doing. You're just there, like, you're figuring out, like, okay, am I supposed to do this now? What am I supposed to do? And everything. But from that to sort of being confident enough that I will win this hackathon when you're participating is, I think, a different feeling. I think people should just, a lot of people come up and say, I really don't know what happens in hackathons. Like, what do you guys do there? Like, I don't understand the concept and everything. I'll just say, don't take advice from anyone. Just go for it. Just go for a hackathon and you'll know what it feels like. So it's the pressure, the 24-hour deadline clock and everything. So you'll have a lot of fun for sure. But yeah, I think I'm just grateful for the team I had and the experiences I had in each of these hackathons. It was a really good experience. I think it really helped me crack my internship as well. So yeah.
So, besides being part of the student council, besides being such good at your academics, you're also a national level badminton player. So, how all these roles, like now the president and future the internship, your academics, then I am assuming you would also play badminton sometimes. How did this whole process change you as a person?
I think the answer itself is in the question. So I mean, badminton has been a part of my life since I think I was about 6 or 7 years old. So I used to train from when I was 6. And then throughout my high school period, I used to train the entire day. So I didn't go to school actually. So I think for about 3 years, I didn't attend school. I used to just have training. So I used to start from 5:30 in the morning and train till 5:30 in the evening. So we used to have a 12-hour schedule for training. So, I mean, so when I was in ninth and I decided that I didn't really want to pursue the become a badminton player path and I wanted to take science. I think that time I realized that in my schooling I had missed out a lot. I didn't go to school, I didn't create like big groups and have fun and attend all these dance events and all the school fests and everything. So I think that time I really had this like hunger to be like, when I go somewhere now in 11th or 12th, or when I go somewhere in college, I want to do everything. Like, it's that hunger of missing out in school that I want to do here. And also, as a sports person, you just sort of learn to be really calm in like most of the situations and like take instant decisions. And badminton is such a sport that you really have to take instant decisions on court. So I think the sport itself is the reason why I am how I am today. So thanks to badminton, I guess.
So, since you were mentioning about these dances that you missed on, you're also a Bharatanatyam dancer. So, how did the sports person change into such very classical form of dancer?
It's funny how everything I say is becoming your next question. Okay, yeah. So I think I actually went to Bharatanatyam class when I was 4. It's my mom's dream that she wanted to be a Bharatanatyam dancer, and for reason she couldn't. And I went when I was 4 or 5, when I remember crying and coming back saying I don't want to go to class and everything. And then I think eventually, as I turned 9, 10, I had the sort of interest. Okay, I think I like dance. I want to see how it is and everything. But then I learned for like 3, 4 years, but it was very on and off. It's everything I was doing was physically straining. So I used to train the entire week, and then on the weekends I used to have dance class. So I never had an off day for like my body. So at a point, I just reached an exhaustion. I was like, my body's not able to take this anymore. So I took a break from dance that time. And but yeah, I just felt like initially my mom was like, it was like a pressure for my mom that go learn, I'm sure you like it and everything. I don't know when, but I think maybe around when I left badminton also. It just came into my life like very naturally. Like I couldn't imagine not learning it anymore. Yeah, this is a very natural thing that was initially forced by my mom, but now I like feel like I can't live without learning it. It's something like that. So it's my inner peace, I guess, now. So more than badminton, I'm like, edging towards dance nowadays. So yeah.
That's a really nice thing to happen when you do not like something, but you end up liking it so much that you cannot imagine what you would be as a person without it. So apart from all this, you have so much on your plate already. But apart from this, if I would ask you what are your other hobbies, what do you do, if at all you do get free time, what are the things that you usually enjoy doing?
I think most of the time I'm either doing one of these things. So the only free time I get, it's either like me hanging out with my friends or spending time with my family or music. So, I mean, music and dance go hand in hand, but yeah, I have a special place for music. I'm trying to read nowadays. Like, I'm putting an effort, not really happening regularly, but I'm trying to make it a habit. But yeah, mostly music, friends, family. Yeah, nowadays.
I hope the reading gets added into your list as well, but don't take too much stress. Start with something small. I'm pretty sure it'll end up in your list anyways. So, as the president, you being the president, I would like to ask you what is something the students can expect from this year's student council?
I think I don't want to say that the students are wrong, but there is a misperception among students that the council does nothing but events. I really don't think so. And like, so just to give a brief to the students, the core committee is a part of a lot of academic committees and placement committees and all the background committees. And we do try our best to sort of push for, like push out the complaints of the students and like what they're really going through and everything. Not talking about the past again because I didn't have a hand in that. But in this council, at least, we will not just be focusing on events and having a satisfactory event. Of course, we will be focusing on that because that's our main job. But at the same time, we will be pushing for a lot of academic policies and better interaction in classes. Just everything that's already happening and all the policies that are already in place by VC sir and other management that haven't been maybe affected implemented on ground. Finding out those ground feedbacks and making feedback policy a sort of better implemented policy. We'll be working on these things a lot as well because at the end of the day, we are the voice of the students and we don't want that to be left out, I guess. So, yeah.
That's, I think, really nice. And as you very rightly said, there is always a misconception that the student council only comes out when there are events, but there is a lot of background work that goes on behind the scenes without a lot of students knowing. And I have also been a part of it, so I also know about that. So, Niveda, any last words that you would like to say to our audience who are listening to this podcast before we wrap it up?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. And apart from this, special thanks to Shrujana for taking the time out to do this podcast with me because when I first heard that I'm doing it, I sort of asked her, no, I really want you to be there and you do it with me and everything. She's a writers co-convener for 24-25 Council. So, an absolutely wonderful time working with her. She's been here for 2 years. And a little sad that she's graduating and she'll be leaving. But nevertheless, I think the podcast speaks for itself. What a wonderful human and what a wonderful person she is. So, thank you so much for having me, I guess. Thank you.
Niveda, once again, congratulations on being elected as the President Student Council 25-26 and all the very best as you embark on this adventurous journey, I would rather say. And thank you for being here with us on our podcast. That's it from us, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. This is Ruchana signing off. See you at the next episode.